Are you ready to conquer your enemies without ever resorting to aggression? The Stoics believed that true power lies in mastering yourself, not in dominating others. In this video, we'll reveal 15 powerful Stoic principles that will help you defeat your enemy without fighting, relying on wisdom and inner strength. Drawing from the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, you'll learn how to navigate any conflict with grace and resilience. Before we dive into the principles, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more content like this, helping you apply Stoic wisdom to all aspects of life. Now, let's get started. 1. Understand the issue deeply. When faced with conflict, it's easy to react impulsively, letting emotions cloud our judgment. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to pause and understand the issue deeply before responding. As Marcus Aurelius noted, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. This reminds us that our emotions can distort reality. To truly grasp a situation, we must ask ourselves, what's driving the other person's actions? Are deeper fears or frustrations at play? By empathizing and trying to see the conflict through the other person's eyes, we can gain valuable insights. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Understanding the root cause enables us to respond with calmness and clarity rather than react impulsively. 2. Choose your battles wisely. Choosing your battles wisely is a key lesson in Stoic philosophy. Not every conflict is worth your time or energy, as Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of life's fleeting nature. He said, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years." This reflection encourages us to focus on what truly matters. Before engaging in any conflict, ask yourself, is this really important? Will it bring me closer to my goals, or is it just an emotional reaction? Everyday conflicts, like disagreements at work or minor misunderstandings, often don't deserve your full attention. As Seneca advised, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. By pausing, you can better evaluate if a battle is worth fighting or if it's best to let go. 3. Communicate calmly. Once you've determined that a conflict is worth engaging in, the next step is to approach it with calm and clarity. Stoicism places great emphasis on controlling one's emotions, particularly in moments of tension. Shouting accusations and insults only escalate conflicts, while calm communication can help de-escalate a situation and lead to resolution. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." In this context, bravery is not about aggression or dominance, but about the courage to control oneself in difficult situations. The first step toward calm communication is active listening. Instead of planning your response while the other person is speaking, focus entirely on what they are saying. Reflect their words back to them to ensure you've understood correctly. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you're upset because you feel ignored. Is that right?" This simple act of listening can diffuse a lot of tension, as it makes the other person feel heard and understood. Once you've listened, express your own thoughts using I statements. Rather than accusing the other person of wrongdoing, focus on how the situation has made you feel. For instance, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," you could say, "I feel frustrated when I don't feel heard." This shifts the conversation from blame to understanding, creating space for a more constructive dialogue. 4. Find common ground. The Stoics believed that human beings share more similarities than differences, and this belief can be a powerful tool in resolving conflict. When emotions run high, it's easy to focus on the differences between yourself and your opponent. However, finding common ground can help build a bridge to resolution. Epictetus taught that we should seek first to understand, then to be understood. By focusing on the values and goals you share with the other person, you can create a foundation for compromise and collaboration. To find common ground, ask yourself, what do we both want from this situation? What shared values can we build upon? For instance, if you're in a conflict at work, both you and the other person likely want the project to succeed. By acknowledging this shared goal, you can shift the conversation from a me versus you dynamic to an us versus the problem approach. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we are all part of a greater whole. In his Meditations, he writes, "We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth. To act against one another, then, is contrary to nature." This Stoic perspective encourages us to view conflicts not as battles to be won, but as opportunities to work together for a common purpose. Fifth, appeal to inner values. A powerful way to diffuse conflict without fighting is to appeal to the other person's inner values. Stoic philosophy teaches that our actions are driven by our beliefs and values. If you can align your message with the other person's core values, you stand a much better chance of resolving the conflict peacefully. To do this, try to identify what matters most to the other person. Is it integrity, family, respect, or community? By framing your argument in terms of these values, you show the other person that you understand what's important to them, and you're more likely to reach a resolution. As the Stoic Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." True freedom comes from acting in accordance with your own values, and when you appeal to someone else's values, you're speaking to their most authentic self. For example, if you know that the other person values fairness, you can frame your argument in a way that emphasizes how your solution is the fairest outcome for both parties. This approach not only resolves the conflict, but does so in a way that respects the other person's beliefs. 6. Use humor wisely. Humor is a powerful tool for diffusing tension in conflict situations. The Stoics recognized the value of laughter and lightness, even in difficult circumstances. Seneca once remarked, "A joke is often the closest thing to the truth." Tanso. However, it's important to use humor wisely. Well-timed, light-hearted humor can break down emotional barriers and help both parties see the absurdity of the situation. For example, if a conflict is escalating over something trivial, a small joke can remind everyone that the issue at hand isn't worth getting worked up over. That said, humor should never be used to belittle or mock the other person. Instead, it should serve to lighten the mood and create a more relaxed atmosphere. The goal is to bring people together, not to alienate them further. By incorporating humor into your conflict resolution strategy, you can disarm your opponent and create a more constructive environment for dialogue. As Epictetus wisely observed, "Remember that you are an actor in a drama of such a kind as the author pleases to make it." Humor allows us to step back and see the bigger picture, making it easier to navigate conflicts with grace. 7. Practice empathy. Empathy is perhaps one of the most powerful Stoic strategies for resolving conflict without fighting. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, whenever you're about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I'm about to criticize? The ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes can transform conflict into understanding. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with the other person, but it does mean acknowledging their perspective and feelings. This simple act can diffuse much of the tension that arises in conflicts. For example, if someone is angry with you, take a moment to consider why they might be feeling that way. What pressures or fears are they experiencing? What insecurities might be driving their behavior? By recognizing the underlying emotions behind the conflict, you can respond with compassion rather than defensiveness. Empathy also allows you to shift the focus of the conflict from winning to understanding. Instead of trying to defeat the other person, you're trying to connect with them. This shift in mindset can turn a heated argument into a meaningful conversation. 8. Embrace compromise. Stoicism teaches us that life is full of challenges and that we must learn to adapt to them. In the context of conflict, this means embracing compromise. Rather than insisting on winning every argument, the Stoic approach is to find a solution that works for both parties. Epictetus advised, "Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." In other words, let go of rigid expectations and be open to compromise. A win-win solution, where both parties feel their needs are met, is often more valuable than a victory for one side. Compromise doesn't mean giving up your principles. It means finding a balance that respects both sides. To achieve this, ask yourself, what is truly important in this situation? What can I let go of without sacrificing my core values? By focusing on what matters most and being willing to compromise on less important issues, you can resolve conflicts in a way that strengthens relationships rather than damages them. 9. Seek external support. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, conflicts can feel overwhelming. When this happens, it's wise to seek external support. Stoicism teaches us that we don't have to face every challenge alone. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the interconnectedness of humanity, reminding himself that we are all part of a larger community. If a conflict is particularly difficult, consider seeking the help of a mediator or a trusted third party. A neutral perspective can help both sides see the situation more clearly and facilitate a peaceful resolution. Mediators can guide the conversation, ensure that both parties are heard, and help find common ground. This doesn't mean you're weak for seeking help. In fact, it's a sign of wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." By resolving conflicts in a thoughtful, compassionate way, you not only improve the present situation, but also create a foundation for better relationships in the future. 10. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is a central tenet of Stoic philosophy. Holding on to anger and resentment only harms you, not the other person. As Seneca wisely said, "He who is revengeful lives with a wound always open." Forgiving your enemy doesn't mean condoning their actions. Instead, it's about freeing yourself from the burden of negative emotions. When you forgive, you reclaim your peace of mind and create space for healing and growth. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it is a powerful way to disarm your enemy. By letting go of the past, you release the hold that the conflict has over you and move forward with clarity and peace. 11th, reflect on your actions. Stoicism teaches the importance of self-reflection. In any conflict, it's essential to take a step back and evaluate your own role in the situation. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on his own behavior, asking himself whether he had acted in alignment with his values. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. Marcus Aurelius. By reflecting on your actions, you can gain insights into what triggered the conflict and how you might handle similar situations more effectively in the future. This practice of self-reflection helps you grow and become more resilient in the face of challenges. 12. Maintain emotional control. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the importance of emotional control. In conflict, it's easy to let anger and frustration take over. However, the Stoics teach that we have the power to control our reactions, even when we can't control external events. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When you maintain emotional control, you create the space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This emotional resilience is key to resolving conflicts without escalating them. By keeping your emotions in check, you can navigate even the most challenging situations with calmness and grace. 13. Cultivate patience. Patience is a virtue highly valued in Stoic philosophy. Conflicts often arise because we want immediate results, but Stoicism teaches us to take a longer view. As Epictetus said, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. In moments of conflict, cultivating patience allows you to approach the situation with clarity and thoughtfulness. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, take a step back, breathe, and give yourself time to process your emotions. By practicing patience, you not only avoid making rash decisions, but also create space for more thoughtful and constructive solutions to emerge. 14. Focus on personal growth. Every conflict is an opportunity for personal growth. The Stoics believed that challenges, including conflicts, help us become better, wiser, and stronger. Marcus Aurelius viewed difficulties as opportunities to practice virtue and improve oneself. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. When you encounter conflict, ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I use this challenge to become more patient, understanding, or resilient? By focusing on personal growth, you transform conflicts into opportunities for self-improvement. 15th, let go of resentment. Finally, Stoicism teaches us to let go of resentment. Holding on to grudges only harms us in the long run. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Resentment keeps us trapped in the past, preventing us from moving forward with clarity and peace. By letting go of resentment, you free yourself from the emotional weight of the conflict and create space for healing and growth. Forgiveness, patience, and self-reflection all play a role in letting go of resentment. When you release these negative emotions, you not only improve your mental and emotional well-being, but also disarm your enemy by refusing to engage in ongoing bitterness. Conclusion. In conclusion, Stoicism provides powerful tools to resolve conflicts without confrontation. By mastering ourselves through patience, empathy, and understanding, we can neutralize conflict with wisdom and grace. These 15 Stoic strategies, rooted in the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, remind us that true strength lies not in defeating others, but in mastering our reactions. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it valuable, please like and share it with your friends and loved ones, so they too can benefit from these timeless Stoic principles. Don't forget to comment below with your own stories of overcoming conflict and subscribe for more content like this.